Now, the last video that I have to talk about is when trying to solve word problems, you want to be able to recognize words which are associated with each of the math operations. Now, I'm not going to sit here and read this entire list of words for you, but I am going to tell you that, say, for example, you are doing addition. All of these words, if you see them in a problem, they usually mean that you're trying to add, right? So if you want, you can pause the video and make your own list, or I have this posted on my resources if you're one of my students. But if you see words like this in a word problem, that means they want you to add, okay? Now, if you see words like these, especially difference, okay? And in addition, the words add, sum, or increase, more are probably the most common ones. But in subtraction, words like difference or subtract or minus or how much more or how much less are usually going to be hints that you need to be subtracting. Take away, remove. All right, so there's these all the words in this list. Words like is, are, the same as, result is, or equal to infer equality. And we're going to say that basically it's what you're trying to find, right? Equal to. Here's some multiplication words. The most common one is multiply, and the word by, and the word of. Okay, so if you see like what is 20% of 50, that of means you're multiplying. Okay, by also means multiplying. Okay, so anytime you have rate or speed problems, if you're trying to figure out how much you got after several times, the word times itself or the word product, set of, all of these things have to do with multiplication. If you're looking at division, words like divide is probably the most important one, or quotient, fractions, per shows up all the time, out of, or each, all right, separated by, or if you're trying to figure out how many times you need to do something, or if you're working on rate problems, but you're trying to find out how many times you need to do to get to a certain total. If you're partitioning things, or cutting, or dividing them, all of these are going to be associated with division. All right. So as long as you recognize these words in word problems, it will make your life a lot easier. And when we actually work to the rational numbers unit, we're going to be using this chart a lot to help us decipher those word problems. I just wanted to include them here to give you a helpful hint as you move forward. I hope you paused to get for yourself a list of that. Do note, by the way, that division is the inverse of multiplication. So when you're doing that, you're basically trying to find how many times you need to multiply or add something, right? And multiplication is just another way of adding, because it's basically how many times you have to add to get to a certain total. Subtraction is also adding. It's adding the inverse, right? Or adding the opposite number. We talked about this. And so adding is really the basic operation. All others are versions of it, because subtraction is just a version of addition. Multiplication is just adding many times. And division is just trying to figure out how many times you have to multiply. So addition is the basis of all math. I hope this makes sense to you guys. And this is the last video of the playlist on rational numbers. And I hope that you found this helpful. I will make one more video, though, that's not really part of the teaching. It's more practice, a guided practice that I'm going to do with you to see if you're ready to take the content assessments and the unit test. I hope you find this helpful.